So it does come into two pieces. We call this piece the lip of the arc, right? And it just pops right off easily and bounces away. So that's the lip of the arc. This is the high arc. We call it the high arc and the low slope. Without a high slope and a low slope, right? So sometimes we're going to want to be on the high slope this way. Sometimes we're going to want the high slope that way. Sometimes we're going to want the whole thing together. Sometimes we're not. So, and there is some variation. So the arc we use on the mat, we also use it on the reformer. It is designed, this ones are designed to fit on the roller. This brown one was the original arc.
Oh, yeah.
Right, and it was designed as a replacement for the barrel. But these ones don't work on the reformer, and they're really heavy and cumbersome. And so they designed these, and I kind of went with these instead. And then we have a baby arc, which is under that Cadillac over here. You'll see it. It's a lower sloped arc. So you could substitute that. It doesn't have the lip, though, so you could always substitute that if you need it, or if you want to put it on the Cadillac to get some stretching or side bending. Sometimes it's nice to use to help people, like when you're doing the Cadillac side bend, to put it right against them so they side bend over it, for example. So there are lots of reasons why you might want to use an arc. And then, so arc and barrel, arc comes from the barrel. So some of the stuff is the same. So one of the things we do on the arc is like the short box series on the reformer, but we also do that on the ladder barrel. We put the arc on the reformer and do short box on it, but we also do the whole short box series, or a lot of it, on the ladder barrel. So we're going to start with our arc here on the mat. We'll move it to the reformer, and then we'll work on the ladder barrels, so you'll get to see all of those. You'll see a lot of repetition. You'll have some nice review of some of the reformer work with the arc too, and you'll see why in my classes I was trying to tell Laura today. I used some of the arc stuff on the reformer already, even though we don't, even though it's not really a reformer extra without the arc, I'm doing it without the arc also. So some of the extras that developed from putting the arc on the reformer, I now do without the arc on the reformer. So if you've seen my group classes, you'll recognize some of the stuff on there. So we can use the arc this way. We can also, there's some exercises where we're actually using the back side of it. So for balancing and stuff. So you'll see that plank series and standing on it and some funky stuff. I don't use the arc as often, so the cautions of the arc are that it's pretty hard. So people who are sensitive in the rib cage often don't do well. You can pad it by putting a mat on top, and I'm sure after going through all these exercises a bunch of times you guys will want to pad it for yourself. Sarah's already sure she wants padding over there. People with osteoporosis, so I've had it happen twice now, and they both had osteopenia, osteoporosis, so I think that must be an issue. Really, I don't think they should be side sitting or lying on the arc. So I think it's just they've injured their ribs being on the arc. So I think, and it's a safe position, it's not the position. I think it's just too much pressure on the rib, on the hard surface. And then when they're in a group class, again, you have to worry about faulty, I don't see what they're doing every minute. So one was like, it was sidelined like this and felt something. One was on her tummy and pulled and felt something and actually really damaged cartilage, I think, or something. And actually there's a third one. She was on her tummy doing it, and she hurt a tiny bit, but not badly. Anne, who was in the class this morning on the arc, hurt a little bit, and she has osteopenia. So all three of those have osteopenia, osteoporosis. So while it's great, I think, for them to be doing like extension work on it for those with osteoporosis, osteopenia, I don't think they should be pressuring the rib cage from the side or the front anymore. So I don't have any research on that, but I have enough experience with those two incidents that I feel like it's more than just a coincidence. So I would just
even with padding.
I can't remember if they had padding on or not. So I just think it's the pressure, and the position is exposing the ribs a lot. So ideally, if they're on top, their ribs are really not pressuring on there, but she was just probably not quite right. Not doing something right, not pulling up the ribs right, and she probably went like that and stuck out her ribs and they went into here and her. So probably if you have perfect form, it's fine, but it's hard to have perfect form all the time, right? So that would be my main precaution or caution with the arc. The rest is the same, loaded stuff you don't do. There's a lot of loaded stuff because of the positions you'll see as we go through. I've been really careful to try and write it all in there, what's loaded and what's not, so you'll have it all written down for you.
So is this like a good option for back safe? Like there are some, but maybe not as much? Is that what you're
There
saying?
are a lot of back safe
Okay.
things, but there's a lot of loaded stuff. So even the 5s on here becomes loaded,
Okay,
where it's not loaded on the mat.
got it.
And you'll see because of the position.
All right.
So you need to be very careful with who you're using ARC with. And I think that's probably why I don't use it as much. But for your more advanced students or your people who are not, you know, and there's bridging on here and all that stuff that's good. That is back safe. And like a lot of the prone work I really like on here on the reformer, you'll see, because it's just a little more challenging and challenges stability in a different way than the box does, for example. But, so I do like it, it's just you have to be very careful with who you're choosing and think through what you're doing. And not be afraid to start and say, okay, I can't get you comfortable, let's just do it without.